President Barrow ends his tour with a launch of $20 million EU fund. The WHO urged developed countries to support COVAX with more COVID-19 vaccines. And Joe Biden welcomes Trump's decision to snub his inauguration ceremony. Well, this and more coming your way on This Week. This is Africa TV and many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, President Adama Barrow ended his 2020 Meet the People tour in Banjul on Friday with the launch of a $20 million youth revolving fund. The fund will be used to support youth engaged in entrepreneurship activities, according to the Gambian leader. Fatoumata Kassim has more details of that in this report.
Gambia's President Adama Barrow said he wants the youths as future leader to be fully equipped in terms of capacity building and the production of innovative ideas. As a result, on Friday, he and the Ministry of Youth and Sport jointly launched a $20 million revolving fund for Gambian youths. The fund will support entrepreneurship and innovation, according to the president, as he wrapped up a month-long Meet the People tour.
The world is progressing, and if the world progresses, you should also progress. We want the Gambia to progress. We know that our youths are the future leaders, and if we want our future to be bright, we need to build their capacity. We will have to teach them. We need to make them believe in themselves. We must bring innovative ideas.
President Barrow also urges Gambian youths to be united and be committed to the development of the country. He said his government is not here to joke, instead they are here to work, and that is why they are bringing this sort of projects.
As the entire government,
we want to tell the people of the Gambia that we are not here to joke, we are here to work. There are people who are just here to make noise. We will let them talk. All we need is to work. We want action in order to move the Gambia forward. We don't want backward political lies and political insults and the spread of false news.
The Social Development Fund will be implemented by the National Enterprise Development Initiative, NEDI, an arm of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. NEDI will manage the Youth Revolving Loan Scheme, which is a component of the National Youth and Sport Development Levy. The scheme facilitates access to affordable finance for young entrepreneurs and medium and small-scale enterprises with limited access to credit facilities. For iAfrica TV, I am Fatoumata Kassim.
President Barrow Meet the People's tour finally ends on Friday with a meeting in Banjul. And from that report now to matters of the WHO, because different COVID-19 vaccines recommended by health officials are currently available on a large scale in developed and more advanced countries. However, poor developing and small countries have yet to access any of these vaccines. Now, the WHO boss, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has urged countries that have more COVID-19 vaccine to donate to COVAX. Desise tells us more of that in this report.
The mass vaccination program to protect people from the coronavirus has started globally to combat the pandemic, which has infected 89 million people and killed more than 1.9 million of those infected. With rich and economically stable countries being the only ones to have produced a vaccine, the World Health Organization is urging them to donate to COVAX. COVAX is the vaccine pillar of the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator, a new groundbreaking global collaboration to accelerate development, production, and equitable access to COVID-19 tests, treatments, and vaccines. Countries with more vaccines should immediately release them to COVAX. The WHO Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said during a briefing on Friday.
I urge countries that have contracted more vaccines than they will need and are controlling the global supply to also donate and release them to COVAX immediately, which is ready today to roll out them out quickly.
The Ethiopian head of the global health body, Dr. Tedros, said rich countries have bought up the majority of the vaccines. He said that this is a problem because a mass number of middle and low-income countries have not yet get access to the vaccine.
So there is a clear problem that low and most middle-income countries are not receiving the vaccine yet. This is a problem we can and we must solve together through COVAX and the ACT Accelerator.
He also warned against people becoming complacent as the vaccination campaign is gaining momentum. Meanwhile, Dr. Mike Ryan, the executive director of the WHO's Health Emergencies Program, also warned against an uneven distribution of the COVID vaccines.
We do not want to see a prospect where we see large proportions of people vaccinated in some countries and no one vaccinated in other countries. The people likely to die from this infection is not everybody in every country. It is very particular risk groups by age and by vulnerability who are likely to get very sick and likely to die. It is frontline health workers who are exposed to this virus every day. This is whom we need to protect first. It's not about the overall percentage of the population that's susceptible. It's not about the overall percentage of the population will ultimately be infected. It is, are we going to allow those people who are vulnerable and those people who are most at risk to get sick and die from this virus?
According to the WHO, 42 countries are currently administering COVID-19 vaccines. 36 of these are high-income countries and 6 are middle-income countries. The WHO said it is working in collaboration with scientists, businesses, and global health organizations through the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator to speed up the pandemic response. For iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
The World Health Organization there, of course, calling on developed countries to support COVAX with COVID-19 vaccines. Now, Nigeria's former President Goodluck Jonathan has ended his second visit to the Gambia to lead a dialogue on a proposed new constitution for the small West African country. A new draft constitution was rejected by President Barrow's loyalists in the National Assembly in September over a proposal to limit his presidency to 2 5-year terms. Maria Macham has more in this report.
On Thursday, Goodluck Jonathan announced his arrival in Banjul for the second round of talks on drafting a new constitution for the Gambia. The former Nigerian president's role in the country's ongoing constitutional review process is to facilitate stakeholders' efforts to forge a workable national consensus on a new draft supreme law. A previous draft limiting presidential terms to 2 was rejected in September 2020 by lawmakers loyal to President Adama Barrow, saying the clause was being retroactively imposed to include Barrow's current term. With visible disagreements over the term limit proposal, Jonathan, who spoke to journalists shortly after meeting President Barrow at State House on Friday, said the new constitution must ultimately come from the people of the Gambia.
Gambia is going through making of a new constitution. The process of making a new constitution could sometimes be controversial, sometimes challenging. And the international idea, they have been midwifing that process. And it's always good to get a document, not just for us, but for our children and grandchildren. A document that will stand the test of time, a document that will be regarded as a good constitution internationally, a document that it will be all-inclusive, and all Gambians will be pleased to have that as the ground norm to control the affairs of our government.
Jonathan, who served as president of Nigeria from 2010 to 2015, is being supported by the Sweden-based International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, IDEA. IDEA is an intergovernmental organization that works to support and strengthen democratic institutions and processes around the world to develop sustainable, effective, and legitimate democracies. Gambian observers and critics said this new constitutional process involving former Nigerian leader was unnecessary and a waste of resources. They demand for the draft constitution that was discarded to be revived. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
From the report there by Mariama Cham, now the Drug Law Enforcement Agency said on Friday that it has intercepted more than 2 tons of suspected cocaine at the Gambia seaport. The drug, seized on December 27, 2020, is said to have been shipped from Ecuador and arrived in the Gambia via Spain. Mariama Cham again in this report.
Anti-narcotic officers in Banjul have seized 118 bags of cocaine weighing 2 tons, 952 kilograms and 852 grams. The drugs were part of a consignment of 4 containers that were mixed with 3 containers of industrial salt shipped from Latin America. Officials said this is so far the biggest drug haul in the history of drug seizures in the Gambia. Usman Seidiba, a spokesperson for the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, explains how officials detected and confiscated the substance.
So after this discovery, on Monday, the 4th of January 2020, a physical search was conducted on the container, but was found to be containing what was only deemed to be salt. Search continued as investigation into the matter continued, resulting in the discovery of 118 bags of cocaine in one of the container that was numbered SUDU 7531754. Initial findings into the matter suggest that the container belongs to one Banta Keita, who holds a French passport with the number 17CE91360. According to his passport biodata, that is the biographical data, he is said to be born on the 3rd January 1984. He is a resident of Fajara M section, Kanifing municipality. Sharif, who was their local contact person, is presently in custody, helping the officers with the investigation, while the manhunt for Mr. Banta Keita continue.
The Gambia is a transit point for drugs, mainly from South America and often destined for Europe. Meanwhile, the drug law enforcement officials conducted 2 preliminary tests to ascertain that the bags contain cocaine before it would reach its final stage of confirmatory conclusion.
These are the bags that we suspect to be containing cocaine. And not only suspected, we subject this to 2 different test methods. That is the use of the TrueNAC device, which is a scanner that tells you whether a substance is cocaine or so, and it can detect about 400 different types of substances. You use the TrueNAC to scan this, and it shows cocaine positive. And we also use the color test to determine it, and it also shows positive. But all these are what we call field tests. So these things have to be subjected to confirmatory test, because that is what will produce the document that will be admitted in court.
Meanwhile, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency has 1 suspect in custody, a Gambian, and are looking for one Banta Keita, a holder of a French passport, in whose name the containers of salt were made. In 2010, authorities made a similar bust with the discovery of more than 2 tons of cocaine worth $1 billion at a village in the Combo East district of the West Coast region. 2 people of the various nationalities were also arrested and tried in court over the seizure. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
Over 2 tons of suspected cocaine, of course, intercepted at the Banjul seaport. And with that report there by Mariama Cham, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back, and once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, the government has initiated a program to deal with the operations of real estate agencies in the country. The Minister of Local Government and Land said on Friday Musa Drame was responding to concerns raised against real estate agencies and land dealings in the Gambia. The CC reports.
During President Adama Barrow's final rally as part of his Meet the People tour, the Minister of Local Government and Lands, Musa Drame, said his ministry has plans to regulate the operations of real estate agencies. Currently, there are no laws regulating the activities of housing estate agencies, some of which have inflicted terrible experiences on customers over land dealings. On Friday, Drame said the government has now initiated a program to deal with problems associated with unregulated enterprise.
One of the speakers raised concerns on real estate agencies' land dealings in the country, saying people are having money, especially those in the diaspora, but are afraid of buying land in the country. Well, let me assure you that there were no laws under my ministry to deal with such issues. But we have started a program to remedy the situation. We are working on a policy on real estate regulations, which will soon be completed.
Land disputes and litigations have become rampant, causing troubles within and among families, communities, and ethnic groups in different parts of the Gambia. There has been an increasingly tense climate of land disputes, especially among real estate agencies and their customers, leaving many Gambians worried and lacking trust in the system. Meanwhile, the local government minister also blames the city council for the city's bad state, saying waste collection was poor. He challenged the council to own up to its responsibilities in the city, and that 60% of the taxes paid by Banjulians should be returned to them with developments.
As the minister responsible for local government matters, I am telling you that the condition of Banjul is not as it should be. If you go around the city, there is waste that is dumped in every street. If you go around the city, there is waste that is dumped in every street. And it is the council's responsibility to collect all the waste. The streets are also always dark at night, which is also the council's duty to always keep on the lights. So, in the presence of all Banjulians, I am calling on the BCC to take up their responsibilities, because the law says 60% of the taxes paid should return to the taxpayers.
The Friday rally in the capital Banjul was the final meeting of the president with the people on his month-long tour of the nation. President Barrow left Banjul on December 7, as required by the Constitution, to meet the citizens to discuss issues of national development. For iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
And from the report, they are filed in by the CC next to the United States because the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, told the press in Washington on Friday that he welcomes Donald Trump's decision not to attend his January 20 inauguration. Trump, who has rejected the election result of December 3, 2020, said he put to rest any lingering question about whether he would attend the inauguration. Amin Dow has more of that in this report.
After Trump's announcement that he will not attend Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20, Biden told reporters on Friday that it's a good thing that the outgoing U.S. president will not show up. Biden said Trump not attending his inauguration is one of the few things they agreed on.
The question is, what happens with 14 days left to go or 13 days left to go? And I think that what 81 million people stood up and said, it's time for him to go. And the United States Senate voted 93-6 to confirm that we should be sworn in. We were duly elected. So I think it's important we get on with the business, getting him out of office. The quickest way that that will happen is us being sworn in on the 20th. What action happens before or after that is a judgment for the Congress to make. But that's what I am looking forward to, him leaving office. I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
Biden declared Trump's government as a bunch of thugs, insurrectionists, white supremacists, and anti-Semites. The president-elect also demands a full investigation on the breakdown of security at the seat of the U.S. government, Capitol Hill, on Wednesday.
The difference here is this had the active encouragement of a sitting president of the United States. And the way in which the breakdown in security occurred needs to be thoroughly investigated. I'm not going to prejudge what it was, but the idea that these people were able to just march up the stairs, march in, and do it in the way we had, there's a great debate. I don't know the answer. Great debate now. Was the governor of Maryland correct when he said that I was ready to send in the National Guard? I couldn't get authorization. What happened? It deserves a full-blown investigation.
Joe Biden further said that inspirational leaders and terrible leaders are two ways people are being inspired. Trump joined the Republican Party in Manhattan in 1987, switched to the Reform Party in 1999, the Democratic Party in 2001, and back to the Republican Party in 2009. In 2017, Trump became the 45th president of the United States, and in 2020, he became the 13th president to serve only one full term in office after losing the elections. For iAfrica News, I am Amindao.
American President-elect Joe Biden welcomes outgoing President Donald Trump's decision not to attend his inauguration ceremony. And finally, to North Africa now, where the use of clean energy vehicles is gaining momentum in Egypt, as 30 international companies met in Cairo for an exhibition program. Authorities say the exhibition is aimed at promoting the use of clean energy vehicles, which could help save a lot of money for the government. The country's president also lauded the initiative, saying there are many benefits for the Egyptian people. Here are more details of that.
30 international companies congregated at the first fair for vehicle technology known as Go Green exhibition to showcase their vehicles that run on clean energy. This included Trella, the first natural gas-run heavy truck in the Middle East and North Africa.
It's important because first, the environmental effects are better. Natural gas emits clean energy as opposed to diesel and fuel. Secondly, we import diesel and fuel at a higher cost. So using local natural gas instead will save a lot of money for the economy and state budget. Third and most important, the cost of operating and maintaining these cars is 50% lower than fuel and diesel vehicles. So it's a huge benefit for Egyptians.
The Go Green Technology Fair is seen as the platform to launch the government's ambitious plan to convert as many vehicles from fuel to natural gas or dual engines. It's also promoting electric cars. A set of facilities have been put in place to encourage Egyptians to take this step. It includes $1 billion subsidy fund by the central bank to help embrace the eco-friendly cars.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended the inauguration to highlight the importance of this initiative to the country. Egyptians can benefit by replacing their old cars with a new clean energy one and pay the difference in installments of over 7 to 10 years at subsidized 3% interest rate, which is much lower than the 12% market rate. The other option is converting their cars into natural gas, which is also a facilitated payment plan.
At the moment, 600 natural gas fueling stations are under construction around the North African country. Meanwhile, Chinese companies, which were given the go-ahead to produce clean energy cars and buses in Egypt, were present at the exhibition.
The BYD and the JSC brands attracted me the most here, as well as the Chinese MG. The Chinese cars are the most suitable to our market. I will buy a Chinese brand electric car.
I
am selling my car, and I'm here to study and choose the new car that I will buy. It will definitely save me a lot of money and costs. You have seen how high fuel prices are.
The Go Green exhibition has proved a success. In just 3 days, over 24,000 people applied to convert their cars to run on natural gas. This compares to the 46,000 people who did the same for the whole of 2020.
Egyptian authorities promoting the use of energy vehicles in the country with an exhibition program in the capital, Cairo. And with that report there, we finally bring this week's edition news bulletin to an end. But for more details on these stories and others, as always, you can visit on our website on africa.tv. But for now, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and bye for now.